What is up guys, it is Michael and welcome back to another AFK Arena video. Today we'll be going through who to build within the Wilder faction inside of AFK Arena. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos on this series on who to build within the factions, the link to the playlist will be down in the description. I highly recommend you go and check out those videos as they may help you out. Before we get into today's video, I need to say a huge thank you to over 150 legends subscribing to the channel. I can't believe the amount of support we are receiving. It is crazy guys. It honestly puts a smile on my face how a person like me who is passionate about AFK Arena can make content and have others show their support back. It honestly means the world to me. Thank you so much yet again guys to everyone who is subscribed to the channel and just people who watch my videos. I appreciate you all. You make this channel possible. Without further ado, let's get on to the guide. When we think of the Wilders in AFK Arena guys, we think of one of the most strongest factions inside the game. When it comes to the 4 faction guys, Wilders is probably the number 2 spot on that list when it comes to the strongest factions in AFK Arena. Maybe Greyborn's number 1, but today guys, we will be going through the Wilders in who to build. Now, to start off, we are going to start with the big tree himself, Ulmus. Now, short side of the tower, I have seen him used in some formations within the tower guys, but unfortunately he isn't used anywhere. Being a tank in AFK Arena guys is pretty hard, especially with other tanks within the factions like the Celestials or Hypergenes guys really overshadow the tanks inside the AFK Arena. So with Ulmus guys, I would pass on building him. There's just better tanks inside of AFK Arena. We go to Seirus guys. Now Seirus was an absolute beast when it came to the early game guys. His unique ability of the wave. Now the wave is actually really good animation if you haven't seen it guys. If you have a copy of him, he is pretty good in the early game. So don't worry if you are an early game player. These heroes are actually pretty good. But once you get later into AFK Arena, these heroes become fading away. So he is a warrior tank. So another tank within the Wilder faction guys, and is another skip. I would highly recommend you don't build this hero in AFK Arena. Over to Solise, a mage control in AFK Arena. Now when we think of Solise guys, we think of the awakened version. We don't really think of the original Solise. Now short side of the tower in some formations, she is used a little bit, but other than that guys, she is not used at all. Now if you want Solise, you build her awakened one guys, plain and simple. You pass on the original one, so I don't recommend you build original Solise. Moving over to Kaz. Now on my other account guys, I actually had Kaz 909 and had her little bit built with the signature item as well, and she was doing really well within the tower. But on this account guys, I don't have her built really at all because her utility isn't really anywhere. Now back in the day, Kaz was really good, especially in the wild tower, using every single formation, some PvP aspects, some campaign obviously. But guys, when it comes to the early game, mid game, she is alright, but other than that, she's not utilized anywhere else. Being a ranger as well does help her. Being more invested in a ranger does through high, but being an assassin within the Wilder faction guys really lets her down. Has some survivability issues with the character build being an assassin ranger, but other than that guys, I would just pass on building Kaz. Moving over to Gorvo, an absolute unit himself, being another tank role in AFK Arena in the Wilder faction. Now, when he's utilized in the Wilder tree, 100% in the Wilder tree, guys, he is used a lot, being in the top 10 formation with Lyca, Saurus, Pippa, and of course, the Awakened Solise being an absolute staple in there. But guys, I would actually build Gorvo specifically for the tower guys. Now the tower 100% he is utilized being a big tank himself guys. Instead of using Ulmus and Saurus, Gorvo will be there to reign true for the tank position in the front line. So I would actually build Gorvo within the Wilders. Moving over to Respen guys, absolutely underrated here in AFK Arena, being another ranger and burst damage inside of the Wilders. Now guys, I do have him built a little bit with the 9 and 9 furniture with the 25 signature item. You don't really need the plus 30 with him, but it does help with the damage and support. But when you move over to the popularity guys, he's just used in the tower, which honestly he's using a bit of formations in there. This is a staple formation with the guys with Lyca. Should you build a Respen in AFK Arena guys? I actually would, but don't build him up to the 9 and 9. Don't build him up to the 5-star. I'll just get him to the plus 23 and 9. And honestly, you will build the stars eventually on all these heroes anyway inside of AFK Arena. So guys, I would actually build a Respen just a little bit for the tower. Moving over to Nemora. Now Nemora is another support unit inside of AFK Arena, another region. Now would I build Nemora in AFK Arena? That is completely up to you guys. When it comes to campaign, she is utilized a little bit, especially in the early game to mid game. She is utilized a lot, But when it comes to the King's Tower, she is using some formation, guys, just scraping the top 50. But this is a very well heavy team, as you can see at the top here, guys, with Khazad, with Mahira, and obviously Awake and Matria. Now, guys, she uses a lot in the tree, obviously, guys, being in the top 10 formation. So I'd actually build Nemora, especially for the tower, guys. Now, you will probably build her eventually within the early game, into mid game. You probably pull a lot of her within the summons. So, guys, I actually would build Nemora specifically for the tower again. Moving over to Oku. Now, I think Oku is a great tank inside of AFK Arena, especially within the wildest, guys. You want to build him to the 309 minimum, in my opinion. He does reign true within the tower. He actually goes crazy. He's in the #1 formation inside of the tower, guys, especially for the wildest. He is incredible at the front line. He gets so much value. He's in so many formations. He does so much damage, guys. In a formation, he did about 200 billion damage on his own as a tank, which is insane, guys. So I highly recommend you build Oku. Move over to Lorsan, guys, another staple mage and AoE damage dealer inside of the Wilder faction inside AFK Arena. Now, when it comes to the popularity, guys, he's used a lot in King's Tower, which reigns true, and a lot in campaign, guys, obviously with the foreign cheese. Now, I highly recommend you build Lorsan, guys. I can see the formations with the foreign cheese at the top here, guys. Used in a lot of formations displaying foreign. Now 100% I highly recommend you build him, guys. He's using PvP as well with Matria. As you can see, guys, he's comes a bit well heavy, but he is used a lot in the end game, especially in the PvP aspect, and also still used in the campaign with the foreign cheese. Let's get his 99, get his plus 20, and you will do well pushing campaign. Over to Tasi, an absolute legend when it comes to AFK Arena, guys. When you think of the wildest, you think of the OG, and you think of the OG support, Tasi. Now, when it comes to Tasi, short side of the tower, she isn't really utilized anywhere. Maybe in some PvP aspects of AFK Arena, you might have some utility with her being a support. But guys, I would actually build Tasi specifically for the tower yet again. Now, the wildest, guys, 100% you want to push the tower. There's a lot of strong units within here, guys. Once you get to the 3 teams inside of the tower, Tasi is going to be utilized a lot, guys. Even getting her engraving to E30 helps her quite a bit when increases the stolen attack rating, which is absolutely huge for the formation. So I actually highly recommend you build Tasi. Moving on to Eironn, guys, an absolute staple when it comes to the wilders. Being a ranger, being another AoE damage dealer within the wilder fashion, guys. A lot of AoE damage, a lot of greatness when it comes to Eironn. Now, when it comes to the utility, guys, he's using the original King's Tower. He's using, obviously, the wilder tower, a lot used in campaign. And obviously, his 99 is reign true, being inside the top 50. A lot of formations displaying Eironn, guys, 100%. He's in the top 10 within the wilder formations, top 2, top 3. Now, when it comes to his build, guys, you want to get him to the 309 E30, guys. His E30 actually is very good. Significantly increases skill damage, which for Eironn is huge, guys. When you pair him with Chicken, when you pair him with Lyca, guys, obviously with a grouping ability and letting Eironn go crazy, absolutely is the game changer when it comes to him. Obviously, the higher you have him built, the more damage he will do. So you have him in the 309 will do him well. So guys, I highly recommend you build Eironn. Now moving on to Lyca. Now guys, when you think of the wilder faction, guys, you probably think of Lyca. Being a ranger and a buffer inside of AFK Arena is absolutely essential. So when it comes to Lyca, you 100% want to build her. You want to build her to the 309 E30. Now, players have said the plus 20 is fine as well. You don't really need the plus 30. The plus 30 is just for more stats. The 20 signature item and the 99 furniture will be fine. Now, the E30 is pretty good as well. It extends the duration to 10 seconds with her or ability, which is actually essential when it comes to some formations, when it comes to the PvP aspect in some of the towers. Now, guys, when it comes to a utility, she's number 3 within the main King's Tower, which is absolutely huge, guys. You want to push that, especially for more essence. Now, top 3 within the wilder tree, which is crazy. Top 10 in campaign, guys, using all PvP aspects with the Legends Challenge Tournament, the Legends Championship, and the Arena Heroes, and a plus 30 is reigning true being in the top 40, guys. Lyca is 100% a must build within the wilder faction. Moving over to Saurus, guys, an absolute legend when it comes to the wilder faction. A lot of legends in here. There's a lot of great heroes being utilized within this faction, guys. Another strong faction indeed. But when it comes to Saurus, guys, he is a warrior and continuous damage dealer. When it comes to his popularity, guys, he's used in a lot of areas. He's used in the world tree, being in the top 10. Obviously, the wilder tree, guys. Within the tower, he's absolutely essential to have him highly built. He will do well in there, of course. He's used in a lot of guild bosses and bosses in general. When it comes to the Demonic Nemora, Shamira, Kratos Mage, his 99 furniture is actually underrated, guys. You need to get him to the 99, especially for the more damage. His E30 reigns true, and his E60, I don't really recommend you building that high. His E30 will be just fine for Saurus. But guys, Saurus is another must build within the wilder faction. Eorin, guys. Now, he is actually the most underrated hero inside of AFK Arena. I'm telling you, his damage is out of this world. When it comes to the original Wilder Tree, guys, he is number 2 when it comes to the rankings. And his E30 is essential, guys. 100% I highly recommend you E30 him if you're going for the build. And obviously the 99, guys. So his minimum build, in my opinion, would be the 309 E30. 100% getting his E30 for more damage, guys. Now, obviously, this E30 is essential. Adding more haste to the hero means to have more abilities, so he can reign true when it comes to the formation, when it comes to the damage dealt within there. He will stand true being a ranger, obviously a burst damage role. Now, guys, would I build him? 110% I would build him, guys. Another must build within the faction, a crucial character to build an AFK Arena, in my opinion, guys. He is very slept on, and 100% he will reign true within the formations and for your journey in AFK Arena. Moving over to Tamrus, guys. Now, there is a lot of underrated heroes when it comes to the Wilder faction, guys, and I think Tamrus is another one of them. Tamrus is a warrior control unit, guys, which is absolutely essential when it comes to certain formations. Used a lot in the original King's Tower, in the Wilder Tower as well, guys. I'm not sure why. Maybe some people haven't built Tamrus high enough to be utilized within the Wilder Tower, so that maybe that the stats won't be there. But 99 is essential, guys, for Tamrus, of course. Now, would I build Tamrus in AFK Arena? I would. 110%, guys. Getting Tamrus to the 309, getting to the E30 for more stats, 100%. Obviously, this skill right here, guys, when Tamrus deals damage, the target loses additional health, which is huge, and it has how much health they've already lost, which is absolutely essential. Obviously, with the more MR, guys, which is absolutely essential, especially when it comes to the E6. I've seen a lot of people E60. This ability right here is very good for Tamrus as well. I actually think of maybe being my next E60, but we will see. But, guys, 100% go build Tamrus. Moving over to Nevanthi, guys. Now, Nevi is probably one of the best support regens within the Wilder factions. Hands down, guys. Get Nevi to the 309 E60, 100%. The utility is there, guys, being used in the Wilder Tower, being the E30, the top 10, which is crazy, guys. The E30 will be the minimum for her, but I highly recommend you go for the E60. Using a lot of bosses, guys, within the Dune Destroyer. 99 is 100% essential for her build. Now, she's using the PvP, the Legends Championship, the Legends Challenger Tournament, and obviously her E60 reigns true being in the top 30. And she has also utility within the campaign. Nevanthi is 100% a must build within the Wilder faction, guys, and I highly recommend you put it on your wish list now and build her, as she will reign true in a lot of game modes. Move over to Astar. Now, Astar is absolutely essential in AFK Arena, guys, because of her utility. Now, obviously, she has fallen off. Back in the day, she's in a lot of formations within the PvP aspect of the game. Obviously, now within the World Tree, still in the top 10, making a staple, and obviously top 50 within the 99. Now, she is in the number 1 formation within the World Tree, so being in the Wilder Tower, guys, 100% recommend you build Astar in AFK Arena. Maybe not as high as the E60 because of utility wise, but back in the day, obviously, guys, her E60 was reigning true, but her E30 is very good, guys. And if you just need a hero in AFK Arena, obviously, if a hero grants more extra haste, 100% that E60 worth, guys, and the damage reduction is increased, which is absolutely huge for E60. Now, I've heard a lot of people say Astar is top priority when it comes to the E6, guys, and 100% that is true. But when it comes to utilization AFK Arena, you want to E60 the heroes that have the most utility within the gamers, that are used all gamers in AFK Arena, so you have the most value within your investment. But, guys, if you have Astar E60, it is a great investment, guys. The 309 E60 is essential for her to reign true. So, guys, I would highly recommend you build Astar. Moving over to Mishka, guys. Now, when we think of the Wilder faction, guys, we think of Mishka, an absolute legendary tank when it comes to the control primary role of her. Now, guys, when it comes to the popularity, she is number 1 within the Wilder Tree. Now, when it comes to her 99 furniture, guys, that is 100% essential. And her engravings, guys, she is number 1 probably in the priority list when it comes to her E30 and E60, guys, 100% essential. And her plus 30 is probably one of the most game-changing aspects of Mishka, and she's used in a lot of formations within the campaign. Now, I highly recommend you build Mishka to the 309 E60. 100% recommend that, and I highly recommend you build Mishka in AFK Arena. She is an absolute staple when it comes to the game. Now, moving over to Pippa. Now, Pippa is a mage continuous damage hero. Now, when it comes to the utility, guys, she is used in a lot in the King's Tower when it comes to the foreign cheese formations. Now, she used in a lot of campaign as well, obviously because of foreign. Now, foreign cheese, guys, has been a staple in AFK Arena for a long time now, and Pippa is honestly one of the most staple heroes when it comes to that formation specifically. Now, if you want to build Pippa in AFK Arena, guys, I would solely build her just because of the foreign cheese. If you're struggling with that, you only need Pippa to the plus 20 to the 99, and she will reign true within the foreign cheese. Now, guys, if you want to push campaign and have most utility in there, guys, I highly recommend you build Pippa, especially for the foreign cheese. Moving over to Raku, guys, and again, when we think of the wilder faction, we think of the legendary Raku being a ranger and burst damage, guys, an absolute legend when it comes to the wilder faction, guys. Now, when it comes to his utility, guys, he's using the world tree. His E30 is in the top 30, but I recommend you go for the E60, guys. Actually underrated E60 hero. He is in a lot of campaign, and guys, I've seen him a lot in the PvP aspect of the game, of course. Now, he is in the #1 formation within the wilder tree, guys. 100% utilized within there. His damage is absolutely crazy. When it comes to Raku, guys, back in the day, he was utilized a lot in way more gamers and way more ways. Now, obviously, he has fallen off within the heroes coming out, like the Awakened Heroes, guys, obviously. But his utility is crazy when it comes to his damage. 100% you chuck him in a formation, you manual it, and you go insane with his abilities. But guys, his minimum build, in my opinion, is going to be the 309 E30 plus. The E60 is actually pretty good as well, guys, but the E30 you want to focus on, as it extends his skill damage to 10 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. And his E60 extends his duration to 6 seconds, which is absolutely crazy when it comes to his skills and abilities, guys. And I highly recommend you build Raku in AFK Arena. Now, when it comes to the best wilder in AFK Arena, guys, 100% it is Awakened Solise. Now, when we think of Awakened Solise, guys, we think of one of the best Awakened heroes in AFK Arena, 100% on top of the tier list. If you were making one, guys, I might actually make one for the Awakened heroes, because Solise will honestly reign true and reign high. She is probably one of the most popular used Awakened heroes in AFK Arena. When people wanted to invest in her, guys, she 100% is worth all the materials, all the resources to put into her engraving, into her signature item, into her furniture, guys. 100%, I highly recommend you invest in her, guys. She's using the bosses in the Nemora. She's number 2. Her E60 is second as well. Her 99 furniture is in the top 3, which is crazy, guys. She's used in almost every aspect in the AFK Arena within the world tree, obviously in the top 5. Kayn, Ashimira, and Burning Brute Mage, all in the top 5, which is incredible, guys. Awakened Solise is a must build in AFK Arena, using all PvP aspects as well, guys. At E30 range true in the top 10, obviously using the Dune Destroyer in the top 10 as well. But guys, as you see, the PvP aspect, her signature item in the plus 30 within the top 20, and the campaign usage as well, guys. 110% you want to build Awakened Solise in AFK Arena, one of the best support Awakened heroes we have inside of AFK Arena, guys. She's going to be really hard to replace, especially being a regen hero. But guys, you want to build Solise to the 309 E60 minimum. You might even want to go further, taking her to the E61 for more haste, maybe E67. But guys, I only have her to the E60 for now, but I actually was thinking about building her engraving a bit higher, maybe to the E67 for more haste, more attack, or maybe healing. But guys, you must build Awakened Solise in AFK Arena. So that will do it for who to build with in the wilder faction. If you haven't already, check out the playlist for this series of which hero to build within the 4 factions. The link to that will be down in the description. Now, if this video helped you and you want to ask more questions about AFK Arena, feel free to join the Discord, which is also linked down in the description as well. Yet again, thank you all for over 150 subscribers on the channel. I will be forever grateful for having all of you supporting me. Let me know your favorite hero in the wilder faction below, and I'll see you all in the next one.